Okay, it's game time. It's time to play the game. Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it. All about control, and if you can take it. All about your debt, and if you can pay it. It's all about pain, and who's gonna make it? I am the game, you don't wanna play me. I am control, no way you can shake me. I am heavy debt, no way you can pay me. I am the pain, and I know you can't take me. Look over your shoulder, ready to run like a Cleveland bitch from a smoking gun. I am the game, and I make the rules. So move on out, you can die like a fool. Try to figure out what my move's gonna be. Come on over, sucker, why don't you ask me? Don't you forget there's a price you can pay. 'Cause I am the game and I want to play.
In the later part of 2015, I reviewed the first 3 games in the Resident Evil series. So since Resident Evil 7 came out recently, and if you haven't played it, what the hell is wrong with you? I decided to pick up with the 4th game in the series.
While this wasn't the last game released between 1995 and 2005, the year this game came out, it is, as I said, the 4th numbered game. Between 3 and 4, there were a few other games. In 2000, there was Resident Evil Survivor, which supported light gun control in Japan but not in America due to the recent Columbine incident. And the less we talk about Survivor, the better. No, seriously. Fans to this day call it the worst game in the series, though some would say that dishonor goes to Resident Evil Gaiden, which was released on the Game Boy Color of all systems. In 1999, the Sega Dreamcast saw the release of Code Veronica, which was originally supposed to be the true 3rd game. It was released on the GameCube and PlayStation 2 as part of the series' 5th anniversary later on. Later that year, in 2001, Japan got a sequel to Survivor, which took place during the events of Code Veronica. 2002 saw the release of a remake of the first game, which I already reviewed, and Resident Evil 0, whose book I already reviewed. Shortly after the first movie in 2002, the PlayStation 2 saw the release of Resident Evil Outbreak, one of the very first PS2 games with online capabilities, which was carried over to its sequel, Outbreak File Number 2. In 2004, just before the release of the second movie, Capcom announced Resident Evil 4, which at this point had gone through several iterations, one of which ended up becoming a new series called Devil May Cry. Another version, which you can find on YouTube, known as the Hookman version, dealt with ghosts rather than zombies as a nod to the series' original concept all the way back in 1993. The final product was released in 2005 for the GameCube and was later ported to the PlayStation 2, which is the version I'll be looking at. You can get it on the Wii and PlayStation 3 and 4 by way of the PlayStation Network and a physical release for the PlayStation 4, but I'll stick with the PS2. There was also a PC release, but yeah, that sucks. The game is set in 2004, 6 years after the Rat. That hasn't stopped their products, mainly their viruses and BOWs, from falling into the hands of terrorists and black market dealers, but that's for another time. We meet up with Leon Kennedy, now a government operative, who was supposed to protect the newly elected President Graham and his family. The president's daughter, Ashley, went missing before Leon could start his job, and all signs point to her being in some rural European country implied to be a small part of Spain, so Leon's gone to fetch her, accompanied by the Spanish versions of Laurel and Hardy as guides. Leon's also rocking a new voice, courtesy of Paul Mercer. The cops tell Leon about a nearby village, so Leon goes on ahead to investigate. He asks a local about Ashley, but the man proves less than helpful. Doesn't help that Leon doesn't understand Spanish.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
And then the man comes at Leon with an axe, forcing Leon to put him down. Oh, if you think you can go back to the car, forget it. There's something up with these people. They're not zombies, but living people, which is a bit of a mystery. Leon makes his way to the village, freeing a dog from a bear trap along the way, where the villagers attack him en masse. One of them even has the great communicator itself, a chainsaw. Leon can only fight to survive until the bell of a nearby church rings, drawing the villagers to it. I suppose I should get into this now. Ada Wong is here too. Yeah, you thought she died in Resident Evil 2, but nope, she's alive and well and working with Albert Wesker, who's also alive. Long story. Ada was sent here by Wesker to retrieve a sample of Asparagus, literally translated out as the plague, which is the source of our problems for this game. Ada was the one who rang the bell as one of the many puzzles both characters have to solve. Anyway, Leon continues to struck through the village, eventually meeting a man named Luis Serra and the village chief, a hulk of a man named Torres Mendez. Leon, bless his heart, tries a roundhouse kick to got, which works about as well as you'd expect, which is not at all, resulting in both Leon and Luis getting TKO'd. After a vision of some guy in a hood having something injected into Leon's neck, the two wake up to find themselves handcuffed together in an old shack. It takes some time to shoot the ship before being freed thanks to a villager botching up the execution. There's also this guy, but he can wait. Leon's all on his own again thanks to Luis running off. He soon finds his way to a lake where he has to deal with a large salamander called Del Lago before passing out another old shack, starting to notice a pattern here. He wakes up after a dream where he starts to mutate, and Ingrid Hunnigan, she's been acting as mission control, tells him that he's been out all day and she's not exaggerating. Oh joy, more villagers! No problem, I'll just shoot them and be on my merry...
What the fuck is that?
Boys and girls, meet Las Plagas. Anyway, Leon makes his way to the church, dealing with this big bastard called El Gigante that dog you freed earlier helps you with this fight along the way. Luis had mentioned that Ashley was here, and yeah, he was right. After finding Ashley, the two of them encounter Osmond Sadler, the leader of a cult called Los Illuminados, who, through a villainous monologue, explains his evil plan. Infect Ashley with Las Plagas, send her back to the States, and let the plague spread, turning everyone to what is collectively known as Ganados. Oh, and Leon's got Las Plagas inside of him too, and it's slowly growing. Leon and Ashley make their escape hiding in an old cabin with Luis. And what many people consider the highlight of the game, Luis and Leon have to fend off the Ganados in a pretty epic showdown.
Montage time!
Just like back in the village, the Ganados just leave. Luis leaves too on the pretense of looking for something he forgot, and he bumps into Ada. The two appear to be working together to take Las Plagas from Sadler. Leon ends up facing Mendez again, who mutates into some strange centipede thing. Leon manages to take him out, and taking his eye as a prize it's needed to open a gate leading out of the village. The Ganados chase him to a nearby castle where they meet this Napoleon-looking motherfucker named Ramon Salazar. Oh, wait a minute!
I think Joel Serna is going to sue someone.
Leon and Ashley meet up with Luis, who deduces that the parasite inside of them is starting to grow. He knows of a plug of suppressant, and he was going to give it to them but lost it at some point, so he has to go find it again. So Leon and Ashley continue to explore the castle but get separated by one of the various traps. Luis catches up with Leon at this time, Plaga sample is present in hand, but is killed by Sadler.
What an asshole!
Luis gives Leon the suppressant before he dies, and Leon, his name is Luis, not Luis. Leon frees Ashley, but she starts getting swarmed by Mook, so she has to make her escape. Hey, we get to play as Ashley in this bit! And she sucks. Sure, she can toss these lamps at the zealots, which is pretty funny to be honest, but other than dodging Plaga-possessed suits of armor and solving one of those picture puzzles, she can't do shit. She's no Sherry from Resident Evil 2, that's for sure. The two of them meet up again, but it doesn't last long. Ashley gets snatched up by a giant bug called a Novistador. Leon confronts Salazar about it, but Leon's dropped into a dungeon where he not only has to deal with the bugs, but also one of Salazar's bodyguards. Leon catches up with Salazar and his remaining bodyguard at the top of a tower. Salazar uses the Plaga to merge with this flower thing, turning into whatever the hell this thing is. No problem for Leon Kennedy. Before his mutation, Salazar mentioned that Ashley had been taken to an island just off the coast, and Ada just happens to have a boat, gassed up and ready to go. She gets Leon to the island, but rather than stick around, she leaves. Thanks, Ada, for nearly getting Leon smashed by rocks. Bitch. As Leon traverses the island, he discovers Ashley being held in a laboratory of some kind. He rescues her, but they soon bump into Sadler. Sadler calls out to the Plaga inside them, restraining Leon and hypnotizing Ashley into coming with him.
What an asshole!
Back with Ada, she's made a temporary patch with a guy named Jack Krauser, an old friend of Leon's who, jumping the gun here, was the one who kidnapped Ashley to prove his loyalty to Sadler, becoming a member of Los Illuminados cult. Anyway, it's clear that the two have a pretty shaky partnership. Also, Krauser really loves that knife, doesn't he? We see it soon that he actually knows how to put that knife to use when Leon meets up with him. I normally save the gameplay for later, but let me just say that this particular sequence of QTE can kiss the whitest part of my ass. The button prompts flash by so fast you barely have time to react, and if you fail, well, I hope you like seeing that game over screen. Ada shows up and saves Leon before Krauser can shank him, chasing him off, Ada following a minute later. We'll meet up with Krauser again in a bit. Right now, we have a shootout to take part in, and hey, Leon's got air support! Well, shit. So much for that. Sadler has one more surprise in store for Leon. This thing, which Sadler just calls it. No, not that one. Leon manages to destroy that abomination before meeting up with Krauser again. His arm mutates into this blade thing, but Leon still manages to take him down, Ada finishing the job later on. Continuing on, Leon finds Ashley in a lab where she's being prepped to be fully infused with Las Plagas. Sadler won't have that, but fortunately, here's Ada to distract him. She keeps him busy while Ashley and Leon find a machine that they use to destroy the parasite. It's time for the final showdown. Sadler manages to capture Ada, but Leon frees her before finally confronting Sadler, who mutates into this spider-looking thing. In a nice callback to Resident Evil 2, Ada finds a random rocket launcher just lying around and tosses it to Leon, who uses it to put Sadler down for good. When Sadler dies, he leaves behind the Plaga sample, which Ada takes. She jumps into a waiting helicopter, wherever the hell it was hiding before, and activates the island self-detonation system, no shit, before tossing Leon some keys that go to a jet ski, which he and Ashley use to escape the island. The two ride off into the sunrise, presumably to a waiting ship, ending the game. Of course, there are things you can do after you finish the game, such as the returning mercenaries. You can also unlock alternate costumes for Leon and Ashley, a gangster suit in the RPD uniform for Leon, and a suit of armor and a belly dancer suit for Ashley, as well as some new weapons, mainly the Thompson machine gun nicknamed the Chicago Typewriter. Goes great with the gangster suit, but look at that price! Speaking of price, I may as well talk about this Cockney accent dude. He's a merchant who sells Leon the various weapons he can use throughout his adventure. You can also pay to upgrade your weapons or increase your overall inventory space. You may want to farm for percentage as this game's form of currency. You can find this money in destroyable crates and barrels or by looting the dead ganados who also drop herbs, ammo, and grenades. Gameplay-wise, it's similar to the previous games, though there are some differences. As you can see, the camera is now behind Leon. This game helped pioneer the over-the-shoulder view seen in so many games after 2005. There's also the addition of a melee attack. Sure, Leon can use his knife and now has his own dedicated button and doesn't suck for once. But by shooting a mook in a certain area, you can start him, allowing Leon to either hit him with a roundhouse kick or, in a rare moment, suplex him. Graphically speaking, it looks a little washed out and grainy, though that could be to simulate the dreary weather in this particular environment. Character models, for the most part, are pretty good, though some of their clothes look like they were painted on. Many people consider it the best game in the series. While it's fun, I still say 3 is better, though that could just be nostalgia talking. I already said where you can find it, so pick it up, have fun, and give Resident Evil 7 a shot.
So now that that's done, let's see. What else can I do? Got it. But you'll have to wait till next time to find out.